Chapter 4. So, what's Victor up to these days? Jessie kept her voice calm and her eyes on her plate. Sunday lunch after church had been a family custom back in the day, usually silent since their father had had little to say to them. But now it was just Jessie and Emma, alone in the family suite dining room, with only Emma's attentive Sheltie lying near Emma's chair and politely not begging for company. "Well, he's as charming as ever," Emma replied dryly about their older cousin. "To most people. You know I've never cared for him. That hasn't changed. I mostly avoid him, except when he persists in trying to buy land I don't want to sell. He's been fairly persistent lately, so things have been even more tense than usual." Never did learn to take no for an answer. Jessie frowned just a bit, trying to shore up her walls so stray thoughts from Emma didn't keep slipping through. Unaware, Emma sipped her coffee, adding, "He wants to buy some of your land too, by the way. That piece out by Willow Creek Church. What we both have in the area are parcels that adjoin land he already owns." "I'm not interested in my inheritance, Emma. You can have the lot, and you are welcome to it." Emma didn't look surprised, but shook her head. "Trent Wendell is still the family attorney, and he's looked after your share of what Dad left us. There's income from the inn, from several rental properties, plus investments, and it's added up over the years. He and a financial advisor have managed your money as well as they have mine. Don't be an idiot and turn down what belongs to you." Jessie frowned again. "Look, if you don't want the properties, we'll work something out, but that money is yours. It won't make you rich, Jessie, but it's a nice nest egg for retirement, or to buy yourself a house sometime in the future, whatever. Trent will transfer it to any bank or investment outfit you want to use." "You're the one who stayed here and took care of Dad," Jessie pointed out, still frowning. Emma was shaking her head, her expression wry. "He didn't change after you left, you know. He was perfectly capable of looking after himself and preferred to, practicing what he preached to us. We had staff to take care of the house and cook, and Dad occupied himself with the business. He sent me off to camp so I wouldn't be underfoot in summer. I went away for college, and even after I came back here, I traveled every summer to get away, see something of the world. And Dad was healthy right up until that stroke killed him. So if you're thinking I deserve more of the inheritance, then you do think again. Dad's will was fair, Jessie. I'm surprised he thought I'd ever come back." She wondered if she had been missed at all, but inside she knew the truth, and so she didn't bother to ask it out loud. "We both know he wasn't sentimental. There's a provision in the will that says if neither you nor any legitimate heirs you might have claimed the inheritance within 25 years, your share is divided between me and Victor and or our heirs." "Well, I sure as hell don't want Victor getting anything." Jessie heard the muted anger in her own voice, but was powerless to control it. After a moment, and in a neutral tone, Emma said, "You were angry with him when you left her in Hollow. That last couple of months or so, I remember it. I've always wondered about it." Jessie hesitated, then said, "He'd been hitting on me, said I blossomed that summer. I was 17 and he was 25, and he was my cousin. It was gross." "Jessie, he and his friends liked to party. Even though I was mad, I was also flattered by the interest, the attention. He was considered quite a catch, remember, even then, and my friends at the time kept track of that sort of bullshit." Jessie shrugged. "We were idiots, but teenagers tend to be. That's the only way I can really explain. I was stupid enough to get talked into going to some of their parties. There was a lot of drinking." Emma was frowning now. "Jessie, I'd sneak back into the house late so you and Dad never knew. Anyway, it's not something I like to remember and not something I want to talk about. Besides, a lot of it's still fuzzy. Most of it, really, if I'm honest about it. She looked across the table at the sister who was a stranger and asked herself again if Emma needed to know any of this. Her life was here, and what right did Jessie have to ruin it for her? Are you saying something happened between you and Victor? No, I'm not saying that. Jessie shook her head, avoiding her sister's gaze. I drank too much and barely remember any of it, but there were a lot of people at those parties, not just Victor. He was usually there, but I don't want to talk about it, Emma. I'm sorry I brought it up. Why didn't you tell me about all this then? I didn't tell you then because you were only 15 and because we didn't confide in each other. We weren't close and you know it. Sisters don't have to be. It isn't an immutable law. Emma was frowning. Whatever we were then, I hope we can at least talk now. Jessie, did someone hurt you at any of those parties? Take advantage of you? Jessie uttered a shaken laugh, an old-fashioned phrase. Like I said, Emma, a lot of it is fuzzy. I'm not sure what are memories and what are things I might have seen or heard. All I really know is that I felt something bad happen that summer at one of those parties. That's why I came home, to try to sort things out. Emma was certain there was a great deal Jessie either knew or suspected and simply wasn't willing to share, yet at least. She wanted to ask more questions, but the set of Jessie's mouth told her it would be useless. Her sister was stubborn. That, at least, had certainly not changed. It amused him to hunt on a Sunday. Such a good little God-fearing town with many a hypocritical ass planted in a pew come Sunday morning. He wondered if they had any idea at all how many secrets were no such thing. He saw it all, knew it all, who had financial problems, who is sleeping with whom, who lived in neat little houses disguising highly dysfunctional families, who had committed crimes, and definitely who had committed sins. He enjoyed knowing their secrets, having that power, knowing that he could destroy them if he chose. He had been tempted more than once to do just that, out somebody with a secret, but that wouldn't do, of course. That was just the sort of stupid mistake that was likely to backfire and cost him more than he wanted to pay. Because he had the biggest secret of all, and it was one he intended to protect at all costs. But that was second nature after all these years, and he didn't worry about betraying himself as he hunted. There were plenty of tourists about, uninterested in church, some marking time in the downtown restaurants and cafes until the main street stores opened up, while others were preparing to hike or ride up into the mountains. He found it easy to move among them, to blend in. He did not honestly expect to find his prey quickly. It usually took him several days of hunting at least, and sometimes weeks before he settled on a target. But he found her almost at once. She was a hiker, carrying a big-ass backpack with the ease of someone who had carried it a long distance. She had that slightly grungy appearance of someone who had bathed in streams, if she had bathed at all, for at least some days and possibly weeks. Her short reddish hair looked clean, but her jeans were worn, and the cotton shirt she wore open over a tank top boasted a few rips and tears that didn't seem like they were there for a designer look. Most important, she appeared to be alone. He managed to get close enough to overhear as she sat at a picnic table outside J.P. Mann's place, 2 streets back from Main. J.P. owned and operated the largest stables in the area, and the one closest to the easiest access up into the mountain trails, so he got most of the tourist business. Being a sharp man, J.P. also had an arrangement with one of the cafes in town to supply lunch boxes and other goodies, and did a fair business selling maps and hiking supplies as well. The target, whom he was already thinking of as his June Rose, had bought herself a lunchbox and was eating it, exchanging what sounded like small talk with a couple of other hikers and 2 people who were excited because they were about to join a horseback ride up into the mountains. He had an uneasy few moments as his Rose talked to the other 2 hikers, but it eventually emerged that she was heading north while they wanted to head west. She was meeting friends up near Virginia, she said, all of them hiking in from different directions. It was their summer college challenge, a version of some sort of physical contest that they dreamed up and executed during their summer breaks each year. And I'm gonna break there because my laundry's done, and finish the chapter in a bit.